Hi, the Sci-Fi Recapped here. Today I am going to explain the science fiction action film called Ghost in the Shell. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the near future, humans have become enhanced with cybernetic upgrades. Henka Robotics Corporation is the top company in this type of technology, and is on the verge of developing a new kind of cyborg that uses a human brain to function. A woman named Mira Killian is being taken into Henka after an accident. Her brain is placed into the body of a cyborg with greater strength and agility. Once the process is complete, her designer, Dr. Owlet, speaks to Henka Robotics CEO Cutter. Cutter wants to place Mira in Section 9, an anti-terrorism division, but Owlet feels she is not ready for something like that. 1 year later, Mira is now known as the Major. She is on the roof of a building listening in on a meeting between Henka representative Dr. Osmond and an African ambassador. The Major receives her orders from Section 9 Chief Daisuke Aramaki and works alongside Batu and Ladria. In the conference, several geisha-bots start to attack the people in the room, leading the Major to spring into action against Aramaki's orders. She goes invisible and jumps off the roof before swinging into the room, and she starts shooting the geisha-bots. One of the geisha-bots hacks into Dr. Osmond's neck and kills him before the Major gets to it. The geisha-bot says, "Cooperate with Henka Robotics and be destroyed." The Major shoots her in the head. The Section 9 team meets with Aramaki to discuss the attack. They learn that the geisha-bots were hacked from a mysterious source, also uttering the same phrase that the geisha-bot said to the Major. The rest of the team leaves, but Aramaki talks to the Major about her move by jumping into the room. Aramaki informs her that she still has her ghost, her soul, within her shell, her cyborg body. The Major meets with Dr. Owlet frequently to repair her body when it has been damaged. The Major has trouble remembering her past, only seeing brief glimpses and flashes. Owlet dismisses her hallucinations as glitches, but she is shown to care for the Major. The Major and Batu are driving around the city. She mentions what little memory she has of her past, which involves her family dying getting to the country. On the road, the Major sees a hallucination of a burning hut. The Major and Batu meet with Dr. Dolan with the geisha-bot body. The Major deep dives into the geisha-bot's AI to try and get more answers on the hacker. The Major finds herself walking through a club with distorted images. She is grabbed by the entity, forcing Batu to pull her out of the connection. The Major says she knows where to find the hacker. The Major and Batu go to a Yakuza nightclub with Ladria. The Major is pulled into a room by two men who force her to dance while she is handcuffed to a pole and is zapped by a cattle prod. The room also blocks a signal for her to communicate with Batu. The Major then starts fighting the men in the room, kicking one out of the room and leading to a shootout that Batu engages in. He and the Major kill a number of goons. Before they head off to find the hacker, they run toward a room that is really a trap. A bomb goes off that damages the Major's body and blinds Batu. Batu receives cybernetic eyes to replace his damaged ones while the Major's body is repaired. Meanwhile, Cutter meets with Aramaki with anger over the Major doing the deep dive. Aramaki warns Cutter who he is threatening since Aramaki answers to the Prime Minister and not Henka. The hacker finds Dr. Dolan and rips her eyes out before killing her. The Section 9 team finds her body, and the Major pulls a drive out of Dolan's hand which contains names of other Henka associates, including Owlet. They figure she is the hacker's next target. The hacker controls two sanitation workers to ram their truck into Owlet's car. She survives, but the men step outside and try to shoot her. The Major and her partners arrive in time to shoot back at the men. She chases after one man, Lee, as he runs by a body of water. The Major fights him while invisible until Bata shows up and stops her. Lee is interrogated after the hacker's connection is severed. He informs Section 9 that he was on his way to pick up his daughter. The Major shows him a photo of what he sees as his daughter, but is really a picture of himself. They determine that the hacker placed fake memories in Lee's head. The hacker, whose name is learned to be Q's, then speaks through Lee to threaten Section 9 before making Lee jump to hang himself with the cable around his neck. Section 9 member Tagusa traces the hacker's signal to a hidden location. The Major finds Q's as he is connected to a network with other humanoid cyborg bodies. Q's reveals that he was a test subject of Henka's, but considered a failure and a freak on account of his deformed outcome. The Major sees a tattoo on his chest of the burning hut, like in her hallucination. Q's says that Henka took control over their lives instead of saving them. The Major confronts Owlet over the revelation. Owlet says that there were 98 failed experiments before the Major became the first successful one. The Major appears angry even as Owlet tries to defend her position. Cutter orders Owlet to terminate the Major on account of her being a liability. As the Major undergoes the process, Owlet instead gives her an address so she can find answers for herself. Owlet allows the Major to escape, so Cutter shoots and kills Owlet in revenge. Cutter reports to Aramaki that the Major killed Owlet and that she must be terminated. The Major follows the address to what turns out to be her old home. Her mother is there, having believed that her daughter ran away and was killed. The Major's real name was Motoko Kusanagi. Her mother does sense a familiar look in the Major's eyes when she looks at her. As she leaves, the Major gets in contact with Aramaki, who informs her that Owlet is dead and that Cutter says she killed her, though they both know the truth. They allow Cutter to eavesdrop on their conversation as they plan their next move. Cutter sends his men to kill Section 9 members, but Batu, Tagusa and Aramaki all survive and kill their attackers. Then Major meets with Q's at a hideout, which resembles the burning hut. They learn that Q's real name was Hideo, and they were originally against augmentations with humans and cyborgs. Cutter sends a spider tank to kill the Major and Q's. However, the spider tank hits Q's and severely damages him. The Major leaps onto the back of the spider tank and tries to rip its back open. She uses all her strength, causing her arm to rip off as she destroys the spider tank. Q's offers to merge his ghost with her, but she refuses and he fades out. One of Cutter's snipers rides in on a chopper and kills Q's. Aramaki sends his own man, Saito, to take down the sniper to save the Major. Batu recovers the Major, who is still alive. Aramaki then corners Cutter after having spoken to the Prime Minister. Cutter is charged with Owlet's murder and crimes against the state. Aramaki contacts the Major and gets her consent to execute Cutter. He shoots Cutter 3 times as he falls into his own pool. The Major visits her own grave with her mother, who now knows her daughter is still with her. The Major's voiceover states that she knows there will be more like her, but she knows her enhancements do not define her. She then returns to work with Section 9 and leaps off a building to her next mission.